Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
On the air, online, from New York City, border to border, and coast to coast. You're connected with Tom Sullivan.
Yes, you are. And hi, how are you? Thanks for coming by. Welcome to the Big Radio Show. Happy Thursday to you. Today is the first day of July, year of our Lord 2021. My name is Tom Sullivan. So, they told us yesterday that at the state courthouse here in New York, they were going to have an indictment. They were going to unveil the indictment against the Trump Organization and against Alan Weisselberg, the chief financial officer. And they have done that. And they have released the information that they have. And as we were suspecting yesterday, that it's not a lot. Let me put it that way. I mean, you can measure this however you want. But I've been listening to every attorney from the right to the left to the middle that is involved, prosecutors, federal prosecutors, state prosecutors. And there's a couple of things to note here. The Attorney General for the state of New York made it clear in her campaign last year that if you elect me, I'm going to go after Donald Trump. I'm going to use the power of my office to go after Donald Trump. Well, she's kind of doing that. I mean, she's definitely going after the Trump Organization. And Cy Vance, who has hated Donald Trump for a long, long time, long before he was president, the Manhattan DA. So they marched into court together today. And then behind them came Mr. Weisselberg, and they did the perp walk. They had two police officers, one on each side of him, holding his arms, and his hands behind him in handcuffs. In handcuffs. This 73-year-old man in handcuffs over fringe benefits. And so I'm writing down some notes from earlier today, listening to, I was listening to the guy who was former federal prosecutor, who was the prosecutor that the Democrats hired to impeach Donald Trump. So he is very, very, very much anti-Trump, big Democrat guy. And even he said this morning, and he wasn't the only one, there were others of the same ilk that were saying, well, you know, these kinds of crimes are usually not criminal. They are usually handled in civil court. There's not... technically, there's a criminality, but nobody prosecutes this in criminal court with a criminal indictment. Even the anti-Trump lawyers were saying that and going, you know, we see this actually quite a bit. I mean, if you were to go prosecute every single company out there that did not put taxes on whatever they gave to their employees, the Christmas turkey or whatever it was. So the indictment says that Alan Weisselberg, and remember now, he worked for 47 years, I think it was, for the Trump Organization, which predates Donald Trump. I mean, Donald was the son, but he was working for Fred, the dad. And so he's been there a long, long time. He's been a very loyal soldier. He knows where everything is. And apparently, they're after a multi-year investigation. This is the best that they have come up with, is a criminal case that will possibly lead to 15 years in prison. But no lawyer is saying that's the max. But they said that the allegation to which Weiselberg pleaded not guilty is that there was $1.7 million in off-the-books compensation. And it was for, exactly like we talked about yesterday, somebody got part of or all of their apartment rent paid for. I believe it was Weiselberg. The company's position is we had an apartment for him for our convenience, for the convenience of the employer, to have him nearby, close, so that we can call on him day and night and everything else. But they're saying, no, you shouldn't have done that. Car payments that the company made for somebody's benefit, I take it was for Weiselberg. School tuition, so far it looks like this was for one of Alan Weiselberg's grandchildren. So this goes, they say, from 2005 through this year. So we're talking 16 years, 1.7 million off the books compensation. Here is the Trump Organization lawyer. His name is Alan Futerfas. Let's see what he has. He takes a couple questions outside the courthouse.
Significant effects. I do remind you all that there are large financial institutions in New York City, very well-known financial institutions that were the subject of criminal prosecutions and that are regulated entities. We're talking banks, we're talking large financial institutions, and they've all survived very, very well. What I would tell you all, and something that isn't reported, is that what is the company? The company is about 3,500 employees worldwide. Many of those are in the United States at these properties and hotels and golf clubs. And I visited some of those. And the people that are employed are waiters, and they're bellmen, and they're busboys, and they clean the rooms, and they fix the meals, and they are maintenance people, and they take care of the grounds. And they are people from all walks of life, of every country on the planet, and they are good, hardworking people. And so those are the people that really are behind this company. And you all should know that.
Based on what's in the indictment, do you think the real target here is former President Trump?
I would answer that by saying that certainly given the nature and the unprecedented nature of these charges, that certainly that's the reason they were brought. Okay, if the name of the company was something else, I don't think these charges would have been brought. In fact, I am fairly certain they would not have been brought if the name was a different name.
Are any other charges being discussed?
No. The answer is no, and I'm going to speak to what we are talking about today. I'm finished. I appreciate you all, but that's what I have to talk about this afternoon.
Should be concerned.
Yeah, so there's that's the point that he was trying to make, was that if this company had any other name on it, these charges would not have happened. Here's another one of the lawyers. I'm not quite sure of her name or her affiliation, but let's listen.
Should be concerned about what they see in this case today. This case is truly unprecedented. The Attorney General's office and the District Attorney's office brought a joint prosecution here because they dislike Donald Trump politically. They subpoenaed millions of documents from him personally and pressured witnesses so that those witnesses, trying to make those witnesses tell them things that Donald Trump, that they wanted to hear, that Donald Trump had done things criminally, which they did not, the witnesses did not do because they could not do. Although Kerry Dunn in court said this was not a political prosecution, I think you can all see what has happened in the press, what you've seen over the last year, and the comments that Attorney General Letitia James has repeatedly made. She campaigned on a promise that she would get Donald Trump. She repeatedly said she would use all areas of the law to get Donald Trump. And this is a joint prosecution. While she was Attorney General and while President Trump was in office, she sued him 70 times using New York taxpayer money. She called him an illegitimate president repeatedly. So this is the person who now with the DA's office have teamed up together to bring this unprecedented prosecution. The DA's office may say it's not unprecedented, but they cannot point to any case where a corporation has been prosecuted based on a few individuals in the corporation who allegedly on their personal tax return made a mistake or did not pick up fringe benefits on their personal tax return. There is no such case that we have been able to find, and we do not believe that there is any such case that they have been able to find. You cannot say, like the DA's office said in court, oh, we brought the case because they didn't cooperate with us. That's not how it works. You bring the case on principles of corporation, of liability, and when a corporation has done massive wrongdoing. That's what the DA's office's guidelines for corporate liability said, and they disregarded those guidelines to bring a case against the Trump company. Never happened before. We will win this case, but this case should have never been brought. It is a political prosecution. Political prosecutions where people are targeted criminally because the prosecutors disagree with their political beliefs happen in corrupt countries. It does not happen in America. It's un-American. It should not happen here in New York City, the greatest city and the greatest democracy in the world. Should not have occurred. And it is a sad day in New York that this occurred. Yeah. Thank you. I'm not answering any questions.
That's one of the other lawyers. Listen, I have to. You got to take your political hat off. Doesn't matter whether you are for Donald Trump or against Donald Trump. Agreed with him, disagreed with him, liked him, did not like him. This is an abuse of prosecutorial power. They literally spent years and millions of documents to come up with fringe benefit tax evasion on Alan Weiselberg. So listen, let's call this what it is. It is technically they found a technicality. They got a technicality. I mean, if this is true, that the Trump organization paid the rent for an apartment and a car lease or a car payment and a child's private school tuition, that's all taxable. And if it wasn't reported that way, then it's a violation of the tax law, and taxes, back taxes, and penalties should be assessed. That's the way 99.999% of these cases are handled. It is a civil matter involving taxation. It is not something that is criminal. So what bothers me in many different ways, but one of them is this undermines, once again, the judicial system. That there are, we talk about Vladimir Putin and how he goes after his enemies, his opponents. And he goes after them in many ways, all the way up to getting them killed. So say the reports. We're not killing people. We're just going after them for a political reason, a political henchman. Going after, if you are on the wrong side of somebody that is a political office holder and they don't like you, they can use and abuse the power of their office. So this is a joint prosecution by the district attorney in Manhattan, Cyrus Vance, and the attorney general for the state of New York, Letitia James. And I think it just undermines confidence in the judicial system is supposed to be blind. It's not blind. 855-295-6600. Steve in Santa Rosa, California. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Tom. Thank you.
Hi.
You know, I don't really like Trump, the personality, but I think, you know, I've been following politics my whole life as a hobby, and I've never seen anything like this put on one man. It's so obvious that there's been this Get Trump campaign from day one for anything. And I can reasonably say that you have these two major cable news organizations whose complete objective from day one was to destroy him, CNN and MSNBC. I mean, anybody that's reasonable that can't see that is just lying to themselves. It's so over the top ridiculous. That's all I want to say.
The thing is,
I don't have.
Well, the thing is I was watching those lawyers that were part of even the impeachment of Donald Trump. They're former federal prosecutors that are, you know, the typical talking heads on cable television. And even though those cable networks were breathing heavy, oh boy, the indictment is going to be down at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Oh, we can hardly wait. Oh, and what do you think, Mr. Attorney or Ms. Attorney? And even the lawyers, because of the fact that they have just a little bit of honesty in them about their profession, they said, this doesn't look like it's going to be anything serious, and people don't go to jail for this, and this seems like a heavy hand to play. And I mean, even the MSNBC lawyers were going, I don't know. So it's obvious, to your point, Steve. Yeah, it's obvious.
And that's why I think, you know, there's all this doubt on the election and everything, because anybody who's reasonable, who thinks reasonably, has to look at all this and go, nah, something just isn't right. I'm not a lawyer. I can't take it to court and prove it. And I just told a friend of mine, you know what? O.J. Simpson got not guilty. So am I outlandish in saying I believe that he killed those two people because I can't prove it in court? That's where we're at in America now, you know, and the Democrat Party, I believe, has complete control of most of the major news networks.
Yeah.
And especially the paper I read, I wrote to the main editor and said, come on, man, you can't be serious. This is ridiculous. And you're still printing Trump hate. He's gone. And they're still printing Trump hate every day.
Well, just remind him to take a refresher course of journalism, because a lot of journalism has been flushed down the toilet. All right, Steve, thank you. 855-295-6600. Be right back.
First Amendment 101. You're listening to Tom Sullivan.
Yes, you are. And if you're just tuning in, the criminal indictment has been unveiled in New York courtroom, and accusing Alan Weiselberger, the CFO of the Trump Organization, with getting fringe benefits to the tune of $1.7 million since 2005. So that's 16 years ago, 1.7 million. That's 106,000 a year. Part of that was a grandchild's private school. Part of it was an apartment, and apparently the apartment that Weiselberg lives in, it's on Riverside Boulevard. For those of you that know New York City, it's right along the West Side Highway. There's like 5 tall, I don't know, 35, 40-story apartment buildings, and they're all next to each other. And the owners there took down the name. They had the Trump name out in front of them for up until about a year or two ago. And so Alan Weiselberg lived in one of those apartments. Well, so you take the $40,000 for the grandchild's private school, that leaves roughly $60,000 a year. That doesn't pay the rent on one of those apartments. Now, those apartments are $15,000, $20,000 a month, something like that. So $60,000 is $6,000. Maybe they help pick up something, some fee. But regardless, technically, if that's true, and they're going to fight this in court, and Weiselberg pled not guilty, they're going to fight this in court, and these are usually civil matters, a fine plus a penalty. A penalty, back taxes, a penalty, and interest. That's what you get if you don't pay your taxes. And he doesn't have any record of ever being arrested for anything ever, so he has a clean bill of health on the criminal books. And I'm going, it doesn't sound like $60,000 in a rent, must maybe picked up part of the rent for the apartment. But regardless, if that's true, he should pay a penalty and back taxes and interest on all of that. That's the worst. So Weiselberg, if they were trying to get him to flip Donald Trump, and he's looking at this and going, he knows this is a criminal matter, really a civil matter, and nobody goes to jail for these things, and the fine will be minimal. I'm not going to flip. I'm not going to flip on the company and the guy that I've worked for since 1973. He went to work for Fred Trump, 1973. He's 73 years old, and he's looking and going, I'm not going to flip. But they had to do the perp walk, and here came Cyrus Vance and then Letitia James walking down the hallway with the media all crowding in, and here comes 2 police officers with Alan Weiselberg in handcuffs. You would have thought he had just murdered the Pope. I mean, this is prosecutorial misconduct, I think, clearly. They overplayed this for political reasons. And all it does is it hurts our whole effort because we're arguing with each other about politics and especially anything to do with Donald Trump. Was that legitimate? Was the vote stolen? I know a lot of you go, yes, it was, Tom. Why don't you see it? I don't. I listened to Bill Barr. I listened to all these other people saying, no, there was fraud, but not enough to cause overturn of the results. But then this comes along and you go, okay. Just like Steve was talking, this makes you just question everything about hardball politics. Is somebody out there who desperately hates Donald Trump so much that they will do anything to bring him down? 855-295-6600. John in Sparks, Nevada. Hello, John.
Hello, Tom. Thanks for taking my call. It seems to me that New York State is overstepping their boundaries because the last time I looked, IRS was a federal agency. So if they want to convict him in a federal court, then New York will say, okay.
No.
In federal court.
All right. Hold on. You're calling from Nevada. I appreciate the fact that you're calling from Nevada that does not have a state income tax. Trust me, sir, we have a big old New York state tax. We've got a New York city tax, and we've got the federal tax. So, no, there are taxing agencies for the state and for the city. So they have the authority.
I understand that, Tom, but apparently he squared this away with the federal government. They gave him a penthouse and they called it an office, basically. But if they had given him a broom closet and said, that's your office, I'm sure it would have both things clear the IRS federally. So where is New York State to say that the Trump organization can't call it an office? You know, I mean, even if
I don't know.
Private business,
I don't know if I haven't seen that they cleared anything with the IRS. I don't know where you got that from, but I haven't seen it.
Well, I mean, he's never been arrested, as you said, for anything. He's got a clean bill of health.
Right.
So why suddenly now
New
York
State
is arresting the man, handcuffing him? I mean,
yes,
it's excessive, I think.
I do too. And what does that say to people? What does that say to people that could care less one way or the other about Donald Trump? They're going, oh, you know what? Maybe they are picking on the guy. Maybe he does have a bunch of political enemies that are out to get him. I mean, a lot of people really don't care that much about day-to-day politics. They go about their life. They know about Donald Trump. They know all the controversies. They know about the mean tweets and the big bad orange man. They know all that stuff. But they really don't care one way or the other. And even if they do, I'm not a big, giant fan of the guy. And I'm going, this is wrong to go after any citizen for political reasons. This is what they do in Venezuela. They have political prisoners.
Exactly right. This is a political witch hunt. I mean, I'm not a big Donald Trump fan, but he is a citizen of the United States. He should be protected with the same laws that if in your own house you can take 25% as an office. So you can be sitting in an air-conditioned living room and calling it an office. I don't see where this DA has got a leg to stand on with these kind of made-up charges.
See, the problem is, can the Trump organization, this isn't an indictment against Donald Trump. This is against the corporation and Alan Weisselberg. Will Alan Weisselberg get a fair trial in New York City? It's a huge Democrat, blue city. And if they say, oh, you were the CFO for the Trump organization, well, you're guilty. We haven't even heard the case yet. You're guilty. I don't know if he can get a fair trial.
Probably not. Maybe they should change the change their location for the trial.
The venue? Yeah. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they don't try and do that. I don't know if they can succeed, but all right. Hey, John, thank you. I appreciate the call. Yeah, I haven't seen anything about the IRS involved here at all. This has all been state of New York and primarily Cyrus Vance, who hates Trump, has for decades. Phone number is 855-295-6600. Be right back.
That's all that I bring to this microphone every day. I have a huge disdain for politicians, and I don't care for either party.
Yeah, the legal system is, yesterday, all of a sudden, out of the blue, came the Bill Cosby overthrowing the case there. And here we've got the prosecutors, I think, out of line, using the power of their office to go after a personal vendetta. 855-295-6600. Ed in Prairie, Missouri. Hello, Ed.
Yes, Tom. I was just listening to you, and I'm just, hey, how are you doing today? Sounds like you're having fun.
I'm doing fine. I don't like this happening to anybody. I think it's government abuse right in front of our eyes. And they won't get in trouble for a thing. In fact, you know darn well that Cyrus Vance and Letitia James will be the darlings of the next cocktail party on the Upper East Side. I mean, they're going to be, oh, good for you. Oh, you're going to get them good. Oh, boy. They're heroes.
I'll tell you what. I just wondered when you thought they was going to scratch the bottom of the barrel. The Democrats have scratched and scratched. They've never come up with anything that was concrete, and they're just going to keep hammering away. It's been 5 years, and since he's going to run again, I heard last night that he'll probably have to put up with at least another 3 years, and probably the Democrats have dropped the election at his feet. So we're probably going to have him for another 4 years, and that's my thought of it. They're just shooting themselves in the foot.
I think so too. I think a lot of people who have been on the fence about Donald Trump, I'm not sure if I like him. I don't know. He acts crazy, says some crazy stuff sometimes. I like what he does, but you know what? I don't like all this attacking him, so I'm going to vote for him. They might just hand him the election next time if he wants to run. The more they go after him like this, the more he becomes. You got to have a villain. The villain is becoming Cyrus Vance and Letitia James, and you have to have somebody who is being hurt by all of this, and he's, believe it or not, now the guy that is everybody feels sorry for. This isn't right. Had nothing to do with his view of the world.
And the Democrats, they're not going to give up. I mean, they got so much pride about them. Of course, I was one for 50 years, and boy, I had pride. And then I finally come to my senses and kind of listened to all the channels, and I come out of that being a Republican because, I mean, I'm hard-headed, but you can finally hit me in the head enough with the club so I finally understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think if they keep pounding like this and coming up with jaywalking tickets, they're the ones that look bad. They are the ones who look like the villains. And I really think, yes, they are making people that couldn't care less or have been on the fence fall on Donald Trump's favor side. They'll back him up because they know this is wrong. And
yes, I've got some strong feeling friends, that is Democrat, and they're still saying, boy, he's going to wind up in prison. He's going to wind up in prison. I said, well,
they're wishing.
Don't hold your breath because you're going to die on me.
Yeah. They that's what they're hoping for. They are obviously, it is clear as a bell that they are trying to get him locked up. No question about it. And I think the more that they try, somebody said after he came out of the White House, and they said, you know how to punish Donald Trump? You don't go after him with lawsuits and everything else. You ignore him. Well, they're doing everything in their power to not ignore him. They're doing everything in their power to make him the victim. In every story, you got to have a villain and a victim, and he's becoming the victim. He really is.
And they're making him a hero. And I'm glad they're doing it myself because I like what he does.
Well, I like the results. He acts crazy sometimes, which I don't like, but I like the bottom line of the way he Yeah, I like a lot of what he did. Not everything, but a lot of it. And so I don't know what to say other than this makes him even more support for him than he would have had before.
I think it makes him the hero of the United States because he has done a lot more for the little man than what we got in there now, and they just keep eating away at the good stuff that he's done, and they're doing everything that he wants them to do, and that is great for me. But that's all I had to say, Tom.
Yeah, all right. I don't think you're alone, Ed. I don't think you're alone. So I appreciate the call. Yeah, look, you can dislike Donald Trump all day long. You can call him the big bad orange man. You can call him names. You can do what you want. You can say, I didn't like his mean tweets. But to allow our judicial system to go after a citizen for political reasons? And even the liberal lawyers are saying, if this company had any other name other than Trump on it, they wouldn't have ever filed these charges. This is a political hit job. Let's get Roland in here from California. Roland, hi. How are you?
Hey, not bad, Tom. Just listening to all this, all these comments supporting Trump and an organization that's most likely corrupt. I've listened to your show on and off from time to time, and you always claim that you're in the fence. You're not for any political party. But it appears to me your butt cheek on the right must be pretty sore because you lean that way. No matter
I'm definitely no. I'm definitely a long time. I'm a big fiscal conservative. You know that. But I don't like the Republican Party. I don't like the Democrat Party. I think they are full of a bunch of idiots. The people that are running the parties, not Democrats and Republicans, but the people that are running the parties, I think, are a bunch of clowns.
Some, but I always hear you protecting everything Donald Trump has done. I've never heard you comment negatively toward Donald Trump as you do toward the Democrats.
Can I can send you tons of hate emails about why do you hate Trump so much? Why do you always put him down? I got lots of people that accuse me of hating Donald Trump. There are some things I like about him, some things I don't. But I don't like our prosecutors doing a political hit job on anybody.
When you find that dream home, the next thing you need is the right financial partner to lead your home ownership journey. The mortgage process may have you wondering, where do I begin? At Lakeshore Savings Bank, our experts are ready to help make your dream home a reality. We'll be your trusted guide from pre-qualification all the way to closing day. Or if you already have a home, we've got great low rates on a home equity line of credit. To learn more, stop by your local branch or visit lakeshoresavings.com/HELOC 2021. Equal housing lender.